Well, the museum went for this crazy exhibition because the opportunity arose when someone I'd never heard of in New York wrote to me, said how much he admired the museum's collection, said it was inspiring aspects of his work, a chap called Art Donovan. And he told me about this steampunk movement, and it sounded like the kind of thing we should explore. So we quite liked the idea that an aspect of our collections, the aesthetic aspect for the most part, was informing this current movement.
Steampunk is a science fiction subgenre. It began in the 1980s, and it has since, in the past few years, been given an actual physical form by artists from around the world. Essentially, it's a celebration of the arts and sciences of the Victorian era, turned into physical form. It's a very broad-based discipline. It involves everything from literature to science fact to science fiction, art, sculpture, digital photography. And of course, it's very popular in film. Steampunk is essentially based on all of the sciences of the Victorian era. In science fiction, there's a very strong element of what they call what if. What if the Victorians had access to digital technology? What would it look like? It certainly wouldn't look like anything we'd see today. All of our digital devices wrapped in generic plastic. If the Victorians had access to all of our new technologies, it would be done in beautiful woods, brass, rivets, and there'd be an exposed mechanical element to all of the devices. We've collected steampunk artists who work exclusively in three-dimensional sculptural art. We've divided it into two categories. The practical artist producing devices that actually work as they originally should, but are styled in the steampunk style, and of course the fantasy artists who are doing sculptural devices based on all of the scientific devices from the 19th century.
We've got a couple of those down our way as well. So.
That's nice.
We've got a couple of those down our way as well. So.
That's nice.
We've got a couple of those down our way.
That's nice.
We're actually the artists who made this bit here and a couple of the other pieces. This is our ornithoptic boarding device. If in case you want to jump from one airship to another, you charge up this little guy here with some steam. You've got 5 minutes, 3 minutes recommended, burst of energy to the wings. And hopefully you make it, because it's pretty much a one-way trip. We have two of these. This is the E-Pod by Edison. And this is the T-Pod, because Tesla had to have his day on it. They are temporal insulation devices. So if you travel in time and you go back and you kill your own parents, nothing happens to you. Until you get back. Then you go, oh my god, my parents died. This way you are pulled out of the time stream as if you took a goldfish out of its tank, changed the tank, put the goldfish back in.
I'm James Richardson Brown. I'm a writer, author of novels about steampunk and also a maker of steampunk creations. The two items I have in the exhibition are a pair of Solar Obscura glasses and a working mobile telephone in the shape of a candlestick phone, fin de siècle era. Most of my inventions are created by characters in my book, which I then create using metal, clay, found objects, anything I can get hold of really.
Since horology and horological design plays such an important part in the Museum of the History of Science, we're featuring three artists who specialize in handcrafted timepieces. This artist here is Haruo Tsukichi from Japan, highly regarded around the world as a watch designer and a very, very large legend among steampunk enthusiasts. This is one of my own pieces entitled the Siddhartha Lantern. All kinds of different details made entirely from solid mahogany, solid brass, and of course, since I specialize in lighting, everything that I do has some sort of strange illumination to it or strange light bulbs. It's an evocative device. My inspiration for this is basically Jules Verne's and H.G. Wells. Almost looking like a time travel sort of device. It gets really bright, but I like to dim them down a lot because I don't like to drive the mystery out of a room with a lot of bright light.